There are holy people or great figures that are admirable in various traditions. Certainly in the Christian tradition, we have it as well. Of people who talk about darkness, how they go sometimes for years feeling that God is absolutely absent from their lives. But what these great teachers tell us is across traditions is that those are the times when God is actually the closest. It's only in the black when the light actually, how would you say, that makes sense, that you can begin, because there's some contrast, and that the light becomes so brilliant, so bright. I think it's St. John of the Cross in the Christian tradition who talks about this darkness and this blackness, but God, this tremendous brilliance. Okay, this isn't necessarily going to happen to everybody, but the principle seems to be fairly universal, that the feeling of darkness is not uncommon, but that doesn't mean that God is not there. Sometimes God is closest. There's the story of St. Teresa of Avila going in a carriage with some nuns to another place, and they cross a stream and the carriage overturns and the nuns are thrown out in the mud. And she complains to God, how can you let this happen? And he says to her, Teresa, this is what I do to my friends. And she says, and that's why you have so few. I would like to see to encourage people to talk to God like that. Talk to God how you talk to other people. Talk to God. Sometimes make your prayers complaining, but don't stop to listen. There may be something coming back, but it doesn't always have to be our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. That's spectacular because that's Jesus' words. But it could be other things. I can't feel you. I don't know where you are. Just to be able to say those words sometimes makes you feel better. Or I sure wish that I had a better sense of where you are in my life than what I have now. We can think of the terrible things that we experience, but St. Paul says in chapter 8 of his letter to the Romans, nothing can separate us from the love of God. You take all kinds of things seriously. Are you willing to take that seriously? That nothing can separate you from the love of God. You may be tempted to say, God hates me. You hate me, God. Why? Because something bad happened. Okay, yes, I'm not going to discount that bad things happen, but that God hates me. What a thing to say. When on the other, at least to think about this, on the other side of it, you have this megaphone, St. Paul, shouting out, nothing can separate us from the love of God. God says to you, nothing can separate you. And you want to say, but you hate me. No, I don't. I love you. I love you. And stop your griping. May you come to realize, perhaps the most important thing there is to realize, that you are loved by God. There is no one else like you, and that God takes great pleasure in continuing to give you life and to uphold you. And may you come to realize that more and more every day. God bless you.